This is Billy. He's just an average human. Hi Billy, ready to learn about the past? Let's go to the beginning of everything, the creation of the universe. One of the theories of the beginning is the Big Bang theory, a theory that states that all of the occurring and past matter in the universe came into existence at the same time, roughly 13.8 billion years ago. Before all matter expanded, it was compacted in a very small ball with infinite density and intense heat called singularity. After some time, dinosaurs appeared. Dinosaurs were reptile-looking creatures that are actually more related to birds. They lived sometime between 245 and 60 million years ago. They ruled the Earth for about 175 million years until a meteor struck the Earth and wiped them together. Contrary to popular belief, dinosaurs and humans never lived together. Human evolution started million years after, when a single cell turned into a unicell, this to a chordata, then to a large fin, soon after into an amphibia, this to a reptile, then to a T-form, and then to a human-like creature called Paranthropus robustus, and from there to a Homo erectus, who had human-like proportion, longer legs and shorter arms. After the Homo erectus, the Homo sapiens appeared, which is the stage that we are in actuality. After many years, Earth experienced dark times like is in the case of the Black Death, a disease that affected Europe during the 14th century and started in China, transmitted by rats that came in a boat from the Black Sea. This disease caused swelling, either on the groin or under the armpits. In terms of size, they were the size of a common apple or an egg. These strange swellings swept out blood and pus, which were followed by fever, chills, vomiting, diarrhea, terrible aches, pains, and ultimately death. After this horrible time finally ended, the Renaissance came. From the 14th century to the 17th century, a period of innovation not only for art, but also to architecture. One of the architects of this era was Leonardo da Vinci, who not only painted the Mona Lisa, but also designed different models of planes, diving suits, and armored cars. Of these and more inventions, historians have found blueprints. During the 18th century in Europe, a new movement of innovation started. This period was called the Industrial Revolution. During this time, steam was introduced in the use of machines. The food production increased and the goods became more affordable. In this period, innovations like the spinning jenny, the Watt steam engine, and the locomotive were first introduced. Just a couple years later in the US, the American Revolution occurred. Also known as the US War of Independence, was one of the most important events in American history. During this time, the 13 colonies that were established in the US by the Great Britain overthrew the British rule. Events like the Boston Tea Party and the Boston Massacre happened during this time, but at the end, the US was successful and achieved its independence from Great Britain. 6 years later, after the American Revolution, the French decided to overthrow the government of King Louis XVI, due to all the money he and his predecessors spent and the costly involvement France had in the American Revolution, leaving the country in bankruptcy. This was the cause of the French Revolution. With the help of Napoleon, France won the battle and changed the government after the Battle of the Bastille. Going back a little bit, let's talk about King Louis XVI. Born on August 23, 1754, he was the last king of France in the line of Bourbon monarchs. His wife was Marie Antoinette. He was arrested in August 10, 1792, but until January 21, 1792, he was condemned to the guillotine, and 9 months later, Marie Antoinette, his wife, was killed. In 1914, the world was hit with an event that would change history, World War I. It started with the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. This would cause the division of the Allies and the Central Powers. The Allies consisted of Great Britain, France, and Russia, and the Central Powers of Germany and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This finally culminated in 1918 with the Treaty of Versailles, which forced Germany to surrender colonies in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, cede territory to other nations like France and Poland, reduce the size of its military, pay war reparations to the Allied countries, and accept guilt to the war. In 1939, Germany decided to invade Poland, an event that drove Great Britain and France to declare the war, marking the start of World War II. 45 to 60 million people died during the war, and approximately 6 million of them were Jews that were killed in the concentration camp as part of the final solution, also known as the Holocaust. But let's talk about one of the most prominent figures during this time. Adolf Hitler was born in 1889 in Austria. He was the leader of the Nazi Party and the Führer of Germany. In his early life, he enjoyed art and even applied to the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna, but failed and was forced to move to Munich in 1913 to join the army. And in 1914, when World War I broke out, he applied to fight, Being in the front lines rewarded him with the Iron Cross. From 1933 to 1939, his purpose was to expel the Jews from Germany, but in 1941 his purpose changed from expel to extermination, so he designed concentration camps such as Auschwitz. Without a doubt, this period is one of the darkest in history. Even though humanity has experienced dark periods, it makes us stronger and helps us learn from our mistakes. In actuality, society is not perfect, but together we can find equality at last.